quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree.
Close your eyes for a moment. Picture a narrow workshop off a busy market, warm wood shavings underfoot, a thin horsehair string taut across a resonator, and someone drawing a bow so gently the sound feels like the edge of a memory.
Yeah, I can hear that. So we're starting right at the place of making, not a concert hall.
Exactly. You're listening to Ancient Echoes, close to the bench where a bow breathes and a story begins. I'm Samnang Bradley. Hear Cambodia's heartbeat with me.
Wait, so this episode is about makers and memory, not just sound?
Yes. Makers, players, and how a humble fiddle, the tro, holds lives and local histories. We recorded every conversation with consent. Check the show notes for credits and release details.
The layers matter. Instrument shape, skin choice, the bow knot, all of those decisions carry ecology, economy, and migration in them. We'll unpack that as we go.
A quick frame before we step into a workshop. The tro is a family. Tro-u with a low, warm voice, tro-sao, higher and more singing, and smaller relatives for dance and ritual. Names, tunings, even playing styles shift by place and by who brings the instrument through a doorway.
Right, and from an ethnomusicological standpoint, those material choices, wood species, skin type, horsehair, are little maps of trade and environment.
So let's go there. Sokun's workshop in Kampong Cham. The tools were arranged like instruments. A plane, a rasp, knives with a burnished patina from decades of shaping.
No way! Patina from decades of shaping? Which tool surprised you most?
The rasp surprised me. It's small, ordinary, but the grooves on its handle carried notes from other benches. Sokun set a half-carved neck on his lap and smiled like the wood was an old friend. He told me about his teacher, then stopped and laughed, almost embarrassed at how many people he owed a melody to.
He laughed. What was the story there? Did lineage feel like a debt or an honor to him?
A bit of both. He spoke of learning from an elder who learned from his uncle, and of a luthier from Phnom Penh who returned with new ideas. The workshop felt like a ledger of relationships as much as a place of making.
And materials. What about horsehair and skin? People often picture imported parts, but local choices shape sound.
He used a mix. For wedding tro, he preferred locally sourced horsehair, thicker, rougher, because it gives a grit that sits well with plucked instruments on a pavilion stage. For recordings or conservation, he might source treated hair for clarity. He phrased it simply. Availability and the client's means often decide tone.
But here's a question I kept turning over. Do outside markets risk pressuring makers to change their craft? Tourists want pretty souvenirs. Performers want playability.
He talked about that. Factory-made, cheaper instruments have undercut some local demand. International interest brings opportunities, but also pressure to make objects as souvenirs rather than living tools. Sokun said, very plainly, that he'd rather make a tro that will be played for years than a painted trinket that cracks on a shelf.
I hear that. But do we risk sounding paternalistic when we tell makers how to survive? Respect and remuneration must come together.
You're right. That tension came up again and again. Sokun said demand alone isn't enough. Respect is the rest of it. He meant clients who understand timelines, pay fair prices, and honor how an instrument is meant to be used.
So when you approach a maker, ask, how do you want the instrument used? Where did the materials come from? Do you place any restrictions on sale or performance? Those questions protect both tradition and maker.
Back at the bench, I watched him glue the skin over the resonator and tighten pegs by feel, not by numbers. There's an economy of touch, movements honed by repetition,
that read like a sentence finishing itself.
Yeah, on stage, that sentence becomes a voice. You brought recordings from pavilions, streets, and diaspora rehearsals. What did those contexts reveal about the tro's voice?
In a pavilion, the tro sings long lines to support singers and dancers. In street performance, the bow is pushed for presence and brightness. In diaspora rehearsals, players experiment, old tunings with new instruments, trying to hold memory while speaking to different ears.
That hybridization keeps the tradition alive. Adaptation without erasure. It's also why documentation and respectful recording matter. You mentioned conservators. What perspective did they add?
A conservator told me, "We preserve technique by sharing it." They stabilize fragile instruments for museums, but work to return knowledge to communities, because a trombone behind glass is not the same as one played at a wedding.
Let's sit with a montage I recorded. Market chatter, an apprentice practicing scales, a wedding call and response. Those layers show how the tro moves through daily life.
Listen to the bow breathe differently in each room. Hear one tuning gesture change a piece's greeting, soft at a family altar, bright at a pavilion. An elder told me, it speaks for us when we cannot.
Technically, that speaking mixes bow speed, pressure, and contact point. If you want to appreciate a performance, follow the bow. The slight hesitation, the way a player lingers, that phrasing carries meaning.
Right. Notice how the bow shapes a phrase. Now, I'm going to hand you over to listening. Close your eyes. Follow the bow. This next piece is for deep listening.
We'll be right here after the music. Listen for phrasing and for how the sound sits in the room. Thank you for listening. When the piece ends, check the show notes for performer credits, release forms, and vetted maker contacts. Support that keeps music alive.
Before we go, 2 practical notes. If you want to hear tro music respectfully, ask for a short demonstration, offer to pay, and ask how the maker prefers the instrument used. And if you're commissioning an instrument, give makers time. Good craft takes weeks, sometimes months.
Also remember consent if you record. Explain how material will be used and store releases. The ethics matter as much as the sound.
One small disagreement from the field I want to leave you with. When I said more demand might mean more apprentices, Sokun pushed back. Demand without respect makes bad makers. That stuck with me. Sustaining craft needs money, yes, but it also needs patience and respectful practice.
That's the heart of it. Support communities in ways that let techniques pass whole. Don't hurry the hand that makes the sound.
If this episode moved you, subscribe to Ancient Echoes, leave a rating, and share a favorite moment. Quiet stones, loud stories. Walk the temples with me next week when we follow another living tradition.
Find full transcripts, source notes, and the list of ethical contacts on our website. And remember, listen with curiosity and with care.
Oh, shining diamond, flawless and red, you stand so quiet, soft in the air. I dared not to rush you, feared you'd flee. Your heart too pure to belong to me. If you turn away, I reach and bind, press my hand, still body and mind. Your brows I trace, your breath I steal. This mark I place is dark and real. From this moment break and fall, hear the spell obey the call. False love born from sacred lies, second one whispers through closed eyes. Follow me, don't fight, don't run, your soul is caught, my work is done. Empty will, your light undone, under spell, under Sigmund. Crystal beauty, diamond bright, caught between shadow, charm and night. Time won't save you, truth won't last. This vow is carved, the line is cast. My words are smoke, my touch is fire. I bend your heart to dark desire.